You're listening to the Film Slice podcast, where we have in-depth conversations about pizza. Wait, what?
No, movies, buddy. That's your other podcast. What's the name of that podcast?
The Pizza Slice podcast.
That's cool. That's called the Film Slice podcast. It's the same name.
The pizza.
Hey team, Angus Strachan here, and welcome to the Film Slice podcast. I am joined, as always, by my co-hosts Jordan and Brody. Yeah. What's up? How are we all?
Yeah, we're all very...
I'm just going to let the audience know right now that this is the hangover from the 10th episode. From such a high, we have dived so low.
Collectively, I think all up, we've maybe got 8 hours sleep between us.
Yeah, I said that's fair.
About that.
Yeah, if that.
Philip's fine, by the way.
Thanks, Philip.
Great.
Good to have you for the first time.
Fuck off, Philip. We're all very tired.
Today we are reviewing 12 Strong.
12 Strong tells the story of the first Special Forces team deployed to Afghanistan after 9/11. Under the leadership of new captain, the team must work with an Afghan warlord to take down the Taliban.
Classic plot. Yeah. Who have we got in there, Kane Dogs?
Behind enemy lines. So yeah, we got Chris Hemsworth, who's Thor in the Thor movies. Then we've got Michael Shannon,
who's Thor in the Thor movies.
Who's Thor in the Thor movies? No, Michael Shannon is he plays Zod in Man of Steel.
Yeah, he's also in Boardwalk Empire.
Yes, he's probably in that, and he's probably in other things.
It seems to happen with actors.
It's a war movie.
It's a war movie.
Take your girlfriends.
I'm guessing it's true.
It's loosely based off a true story.
The story wasn't allowed to be told for a while. Is that right? Or was it just the names that got released?
I have a feeling they didn't tell the story too soon just because they didn't want to have any spotlight on the returning 12. Because to my knowledge, most of them didn't return 2 battles after that. That was their
thing.
Hurrah.
They got debriefed.
They probably didn't want to then...
Discharged. Is that the word?
Honorably, yeah.
Yeah, right. All right. So, Kane Dogs.
We've done our research.
We have done our research. Kane Dogs.
Yeah.
Time for your favourite movie segment.
And what I thought about it.
Yeah.
All right.
When did you see the movie? What did you think? Do you like the movie? None of the shit.
Kane Dogs, when did you see the movie and what did you think?
Okay, so it is currently Saturday. I saw the movie on a Monday, but not last Monday, but the Monday before that. So
are you using days because you can't count back that far?
No, well, it's been nearly 2 weeks. It was nearly 2 weeks ago that I saw this movie.
So fresh.
10 day.
And when I saw it, I didn't think I was doing a podcast on it, and as a result, I didn't go in with my podcast cap.
Podcast cap. Your thinking cap.
My thinking cap.
Dr. Analytics.
Yes. So, I remember most of the movie.
Nice one.
I enjoyed it. No, it was a really good movie. Strong performances all around. Realistic scenes, I would say, in terms of combat, for the most part. There are 1 or 2 things there that threw me off a bit, but we'll get into that. But yeah, I thought it was really good. I saw it with the old GF, and she also enjoyed it.
Birdman, when did you see the movie, and what did you think?
Probably about 4 or 5 days ago, maybe. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was okay. I thought it was nothing special. It came across like pretty much every other war film I've ever seen.
Angus, when did you see the movie, and what did you think? Can I guess you saw it either this morning and or last night, and you loved it?
How would I have seen it this morning?
Mate,
that must have been I saw it last night.
And you loved it?
No,
Did you hate it? Please tell me you hated it. We need something interesting for this podcast.
When I first walked out, I was like, oh yeah, it was another movie. Like, I wasn't really swayed either way. But the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, nah, I'm not happy with this movie. I don't like it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We finally did it.
We found one, guys.
We found one movie.
Angus didn't.
And that's why you're so deflated.
I don't know if it's because of the mood that I'm in, because of the lack of sleep, but I'm just, You
just woke up real tired and you're like, you know what, man, I fucking hate that movie.
To me, it's American propaganda.
Yeah,
like, there
that's
wasn't,
what it feels like.
Yeah.
I didn't really feel anything emotionally for any of the characters.
No,
There
yeah, neither
wasn't-
did I.
To me, there wasn't that much development between anyone. They dehumanized the enemy, which I think was a mistake. They just didn't really. It wasn't really a movie. That's a
I'm
good
just
suggestion.
looking up the director. I'm just seeing
What else have I done?
what else they've done. Yeah.
Would
Who
you
is the director? What's his name?
or her name?
Apparently you need an IMDb account. Does
It's-
anyone know
it's
about
a
this?
him.
Yeah, yeah, it's,
It's definitely
yeah.
him.
There was like one woman in this film.
Nikolai Fuglzig.
Oh yeah.
You know him. He directed such films as
Hey
for
Jordan.
maximum
do you
IMDb,
work-
view
do
our
you-
app.
Do you work
Fuck
with
off.
Do you work with delicatessens and meats? Because you absolutely butchered that.
Hey Angus,
Yeah,
that was a really catchy burn.
thank you.
I've got
Catchy?
one. Yeah, I've got one for you.
Go on.
Oh!
Suck a dick. What is our next segment?
And next
Would
segment-
you
Spoilers?
recommend this film?
yeah.
would
would you
I-
recommend it, and who'd you recommend it to?
I recommended this film to my dad and my dad's equally old neighbor friend, and they saw it and they enjoyed it. So I would recommend this film to someone who doesn't want to think too hard, who just wants to see a good old America war film. But yeah, look, I don't think it was that bad. I think it's an enjoyable romp. It's just not as deep as the movie sort of pretends it is. I think the more you think about it, the more shallow you realize it kind of is, especially if you know the generic movie tropes of other war films. You realize that this hits every single beat of one of those. But I think if you just go into it like my girlfriend really enjoyed it. One of my other friends who went and saw it sent me a review this morning, and she wrote, "Brilliant story, very well told, heartfelt, good inspiration, enjoyed it a lot, and a thumbs up." So I think it's a good
said
fun
that?
film. Kirby. Shout out to Kirby.
Shout out to Kirby.
The only person who comments on our videos.
Yeah.
Apart from you, Angus.
What a legend.
No.
I would recommend it. Not to go see it at the movies, because I think that's a bit of a waste of a
Ticket.
session. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If it comes up on Netflix, then yeah, go watch it. If you're a fan of explosions, then this is probably.
If you're a fan of explosions.
yeah, some people.
Some people are. Some people just want to see shit blow up.
Yeah.
I don't know if that should be our target audience.
If you watched the trailer and thought, "Oh, this looks like the film for me," then it probably is. It's like,
Probably the film for you.
No, I wouldn't recommend this movie. I think it's a bit of a waste of time, to be honest. There's a lot of other better war movies out there to watch. Moving on to spoilers. Cane Dog, sound the alarm.
Oh, what a cool sound effect, Angus.
Birdman, positives of the movie. What were the things
positives?
that you liked?
Man, the budget on the explosions of this film, all the incendiaries and everything. I felt like there was a rule for this film where it's like, if there hasn't been an explosion in the last 10 minutes, let's have 7. It was like every 10 minutes of this film was just... yeah, because like they're constantly moving from place to place, calling in airdrops to take out Taliban forces. So there's just airdrops, like seriously, every 10 minutes of this film in so many different places, and they all look real. There's like there's a couple that are like, yeah, that's obviously but it's like the budget of these explosions, that was pretty insane for kind of a okay war film. That was not like a huge film.
I think perhaps that's where all the money went into.
It was Chris
Was it-
Hemsworth
was
and,
it
and the
Chris
explosion.
Hemsworth and the
But
explosions.
they didn't have to spend money on the director, that's why.
Because all the other actors aren't really...
Michael Shannon's... none of them are Chris
yeah.
Hemsworth.
Yeah, none
Yeah.
of them are that level, so
None of them are Chris
I feel
Hemsworth
like the
level.
money definitely would have been spent on Chris Hemsworth and explosions. And that's probably how the director pitched it to the producers. They're like, alright, I've got this movie. Chris Hemsworth, explosions.
Chris
They're like,
Hemsworth.
brilliant.
Well, yeah. What do you like, John?
I really liked the strategic maneuvers that they sort of talk about and execute in the film. It's far more realistic than sort of gunfights we usually get in these types of war films, where everybody's like sort of standing across a field and just everybody's got stormtrooper syndrome, so nobody hits anybody. I really liked that there was actual danger in this film, I felt. I also really liked... The more I think about it, the less I can find specifically. I think I did like some of the humor. Like they meet up with a war vet in Afghanistan, and he's wearing like a backwards cap, and he's a bit jaded, and he's a bit sort of like, you know, he seems to have almost stopped caring because he's fought in enough, like, you know, he's been in enough different wars and done enough stuff that just feels trivial to him now. And some of the jokes that he makes at sort of the expense of the war or himself or, like, you know, the lives of others. No, I thought I enjoyed the movie. I find a lot of plot holes with it. I feel like it was very
Cliche?
What's the word I'm looking?
Cliche?
No. I like things that are cliche. I felt that it was...
Positive or negative we're looking for?
I'm looking for...
Regular, standard?
A negative in that it copied other films. It was like...
You mean cliche?
No! I see cliche, the word, as a positive. Because I mainly associate the word cliche with romance. And I always think cliches are cliches for a reason. So I don't think of the term cliche as a negative.
Well, it's a shame because the word has a definition, so we don't get to choose what words mean, Jordan. Tropes.
Yeah, that'll do.
Try it. Yeah.
It hits all the movie trope. It hits all the war movie tropes that every other war movie has ever hit.
Yeah.
I feel like we've swapped.
We absolutely have.
Because I always mess up my words, and Jordan's just going, more movie.
But here's the thing.
This is my favourite more movie.
This is a pretty good war movie.
I've been waiting for this day where you've disliked a film and I've enjoyed it. Because I have a feeling that you and me would immediately swap everything. I now have your beard. Everything is swapped.
My charming good looks.
None of that.
Receding hairline.
And you have my shoes. So, all in all, I thought the movie was really
This is the only good thing about Jordan. His shoes.
I wanted to be modest.
And you have my shoes.
I guess.
Jordan's pretty proud of his shoes.
No, I thought the active of, I'm going to butcher his name, but Navid Negaban, who's General Jossam, who's the one that the Americans team up with. He's the warlord. That
He
the
reminded me
Americans
of the guy that plays Dr. Octopus.
Oh, yeah.
In Spider-Man 2.
Guess so.
A little bit.
Yeah, so I thought that actor did quite well. I think he was probably the
only actor in the movie.
Yeah, the most emotionally
He had the most
involved. Depth. Yeah. So I did connect with him a bit, which was good to see. I just wanted more of it.
Yeah.
I
think this movie just needed to delve a little deeper into the psyche of the characters.
Yeah.
I think it delves. There's maybe one scene where they're all talking in a cave about, like, after Chris Hemsworth kills for the first time, and then another guy sits down and is like, "Look, I know that it sucks that you're feeling it, and you might prefer that, like, you were one of those people that could kill and not feel anything, but I've met some of those people, and they're psychos. Like, you'd much rather feel like it makes you human."
Well,
There's some very small moments like that do a great job, but there just needed to be more of them.
They don't really land on it heavy enough.
They don't linger on it either.
I feel like they were trying to
get
make
the
a
beat.
gritty, realistic war film, but then the dialogue let them down for me. Because
You didn't like the dialogue.
No, because most of it was cliche to me. It was like them talking about kind of tactics, and that's fine, kind of expected. And then stuff like Chris Hemsworth talking with the warlord, where he's like, being a warrior comes from the heart, it doesn't come from the brain. And then like at the end of the film, he's like Chris is like riding into battle, and then the warlord puts his like hand on his heart. It was all just like really, really cliche.
Yeah,
and just kind of let me down.
Other than that, I don't really have that many
Positives?
I think.
Alright, Angus, lead us smoothly with a smooth segue seamlessly into the negative.
Oh shit!
Yeah. Okay. Well, I talked about the positives being like the one actor was good. I think
I thought Michael Shannon was I thought Michael Shannon did a good job. I liked Michael Shannon.
I thought the performances were quite stale all round.
Yeah?
I
agree.
I don't think there was, because like for me, a good performance is someone that you can connect to. And I just couldn't connect on any level to any of the Americans or any of the other people besides Daughtrim or whatever his name is.
See, I'm not going into this movie I didn't expect it to be a deep, gritty, realistic telling of a war story. I expected this to be a fun, shallow romp, and I think maybe that's why I'm satisfied with it, because your nitpicks appear to be that you expected them to delve deeper into the horrors of war and the psyche of a veteran.
I feel like they wanted to, though.
But
I don't know. I expected this to be a fun
there's
romp.
moments in this film that are extremely gritty, extremely gory, and really, really brutal, and they like don't cut away from a lot of things that a lot of films would cut away and stuff. And you see people get blown up, people get ripped apart by bullets. You see children dying, people getting bombs exploded right next to them. So all of the war moments are extremely gritty, extremely brutal.
Well,
but then it's like a sheer difference with all the dialogue and interaction of characters.
Well, I don't think it was fun either. Like, I don't think it was a particularly fun movie. There wasn't any part where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm having fun with this.
No, I was going to make some real bad jokes.
Well, this is based around 12 American soldiers.
Yeah.
I can remember Chris Hemsworth and the one guy that goes like through the desert
I will admit,
and buys a lamb.
Out of the 12, I remember,
I would have liked for it to be based more about the 12 people instead of just Chris Hemsworth's character.
Would have been better.
Yeah, I think, and that would have maybe opened it up to be more fun, like you were saying. I just don't think this movie had any elements that were really like, oh yeah, I'm having fun.
Obligatory thing I hated in this movie is at the start, I was like, please don't go through the whole trope of being like, and this person has a wife and a kid, and this person has a wife and a kid, and this person has a wife and a kid, and we're going to show you 5 minutes of it so that you know that they have a wife and a kid.
Yeah.
Just in a passing comment, be like, your wife's not going to be too happy about us going back over and him being like, look, she knows I do this. Da-da-da. That would have been enough. If you're going to show the family, give me maybe the first 15 minutes of the film with him with his family. Like, I think you get a minute, like maybe even 30 seconds of him in the house, and then he sees 9/11 on the TV, and then he immediately leaves. Instead, give me a day where he takes the kids to the park. He has like a day with his family. She's so happy that he's no longer in war now. He's got a desk job. And then they wake up the next day to the 9/11 thing, and he loses his temper. And then,
or if he calls some of his friends in New York, something to make it a bit more.
And instead of
because
showing,
I remember, and what actually happened after 9/11 is all of the phones got jammed because everyone was calling everyone they know. Like across states.
It'd just be so much better if we got, if you're going to show a family, show the family long enough for us to connect with it. If you're not going to do that, then there's no point in them being in the film. And if all you wanted to achieve is to tell us that he has a family, don't waste my time. Give it a passing comment.
Look, I definitely agree with that. I think it would have been way more powerful if they didn't show the family at all, but then they had that little bit between Chris Hemsworth and his second in command, where his second in command was like, if you don't write that letter, your wife's not going to have it.
Both you and your wife will regret it.
Yeah. That's a fantastic little scene, actually.
Yeah, that would have been so much more powerful if you didn't know, if you didn't see the wife or the kid beforehand, because
Also, there are 3 women in this film, and you see them in the first 10 minutes and never see them ever again.
Yeah.
No, the Chris Hemsworth's wife is in the middle of it.
With like a flashback that...
They're doing a speech, and she's like, that's my... Chris, whatever.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the film where he shows up and it looks like a WorkSafe ad.
He shows up on the inside of the house, by the way. His wife and his children are on the front yard next to a mailbox, and he's in the inside in the kitchen looking out at them, and they're like, oh, look, it's Dad.
He was probably waiting behind a tree for like 5 hours. Like,
he jumps the neighbor's fence just so he can shop on the... What? That's I hated that scene so much.
It was a bit weird.
The women didn't have enough representation to warrant them being in there. Either make it like an all-male cast and just say that's an all-male cast instead of trying to put...
It felt like they were trying to meet like a quota. It was we have to employ one woman in this film.
And the worst thing is they all played the exact same, which is like the lovely housewife that's their job, is to be the lovely housewife. They don't have any emotions of their own. Their only thing is to care for the family while the man is away at war.
Even if they're supportive of that, there's still an argument to be had there. Anybody who has a girlfriend or a wife or a boyfriend or a husband knows that just because you understand something doesn't mean you're not gonna disagree on it, and you're gonna have a discussion about
Give
that.
them some of their own motivation.
I feel like watching this film, I wasn't afraid for any of the characters.
Yeah.
I was watching it, especially even there's a moment where Chris Hemsworth is riding on a horse into battle, like it's fucking 1800s
There's a shot
or whatever.
where a tank fires a missile, and they legitimately duck. They
Yeah,
actually
they just
duck,
dodge.
and the
Yeah.
missile flies past their head, and I'm like, there's not a human reflex in the world that is fast enough to,
Yeah.
at like 10 meters distance, duck a tank.
It was,
Like,
yeah.
and not one of them copped it.
Yeah.
Like, it shoots at like maybe 15 men all riding in front of it, and they all just move
It's like
their
the
heads
guy
slightly.
at the end gets it. Or
Yeah,
something
just
stupid,
one
like-
guy's head explodes.
Also,
yeah.
it might be and this is another one of those things I've talked about before, where I don't like things based on true stories, because it felt really weird to me that there's all of these people riding to battle, and like all of the people that are kind of native to the area just get slaughtered on both sides, but then the 12 Americans make it through strong and without a scratch.
Well, that's
You
that's
know,
definitely one thing that I was going to bring up as well, coming off, Jordan, your comment of building up the extra characters. Like,
Yeah.
They literally
There's
gave
so many
no one,
nameless casualties.
Yeah. And they were killing thousands and stuff. And there's this one line where the Taliban are shooting their own people for surrendering. And there's this one line that goes, oh yeah, no, like most of the Taliban are just farmers that have been bullied in. I'm like, oh, perfect. We've got a problem here.
We've got
Are they going
depth.
like, yeah.
Do they feel
how do
okay
we-
with shooting these people?
Yeah, how do we defeat the Taliban without killing innocent people that have just gotten mixed up in this? No, they just bomb everyone. They just kill everyone.
Even at the very beginning, when the Americans meet the warlord, they tackle a couple of the warlord's guys because they don't know if they're Taliban or not. It was a moment where I was like,
That's a strong start to a rapport they don't really delve into any further.
yeah. I was like, I kind of understand where they come. Like, I understand where they come from, because it's like they really don't know. But I feel like that whole situation would have been sold by like, oh yeah, I'll wear a red t-shirt.
Yeah.
Or like,
yeah.
oh yeah, we'll walk up and we'll wave. Or, you know, like just some sort of like, how do you know if you're going to make contact? Oh wait, they didn't set it up the entire time. They're basing an entire beginning of a war on this, and they didn't even talk about how will we recognize you. I also think that Chris Hemsworth was probably a wrong choice for this film.
Yeah,
he just didn't.
I
Didn't
love
fit
him,
to me.
but no, yeah, not for this
Wait,
one.
I think
Especially being so America about it, like
the film starts with them all training together and Chris isn't there. Even if, because it literally, that scene starts with the ending of their, what was apparently a very long and draining. Give us a couple of minutes with that crew, with Michael Shannon's character being the acting captain, and show how all of the crew work together and show the rapport between them properly. Or if not, cut back to how they trained with Chris, but you need to show that rapport before they go in so that you understand why they think them as a team will work better than them separated.
there's actually one thing that I noticed as well, that I didn't think I saw any horses die.
Yeah, didn't see a single horse die.
There was a horse that fell down, but then the horse got up and
Yeah, no, I didn't
jumped
see
back
it.
on it.
Oh, and those moments of explosions where like the ears ring and stuff is like, that happens maybe twice or three times in the film.
Yeah.
And everyone just stands up afterwards. Or
Yeah.
the Americans stand
Everyone,
up afterwards.
Yeah, they all just dust themselves
and,
off. And like,
dust themselves off. Okay, we're fine. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I would have liked to see as well is when one of the 12, they're asking like what the name of the horse is. That would have been such a good chance to create like a companionship between the soldiers and the horses,
yeah.
because like that's what the story is. They're fighting tanks with horses. It would have been so much more powerful to have them.
It's like with Ant-Man, they got
create-
like Anthony or whatever it is.
yeah, like create like a bond with their horse
Yeah.
kind of thing. Like
Those horses should have been. There should have been a moment where they bonded with the horses, and the horses just absolutely get just like
Yeah.
destroyed.
Yeah.
And it's really
even that would have been
haunting
fine.
moment. Yeah.
Like emotionally better than what we got.
Emotionally. One of the things that I do look forward to in any movie like this based on a true story, especially war films or any event like that, is at the end they usually show a picture or pictures of the actual
real
people
Yeah.
next to the actor, and you're like, oh wow, now I get why they cast them. I don't know if you guys were watching, but they showed a picture of all 12, not a single member of that 12 looked like anyone in this fucking movie. Like, the main guy who Chris Hemsworth is playing is like a big burly dude with like a red handlebar mustache. Give me that fucking guy.
Could be that guy from The Walking Dead.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, I'd much prefer you to hire if you're gonna do a movie based on a true story, I'd far prefer you to pick actors that embody the real person and then put some effort into the wardrobe to make them look like the real person. I'm not saying sacrifice good acting just to make them look like who they're portraying, but at least
I think it's more respectful.
take that into
just like to try and get it as accurate as possible.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like instead of
like just take into consideration your material. What's the word I'm looking for? Your
source material.
Source material. Take into consideration your source material when casting. Because
My biggest issue with the films based on true stories is I really wish they were just inspired by true events.
well,
Because I feel like the true events get in the way of making a good film. Because it's incredible to read a book of someone that's been through all this stuff. And it's like, because it's straight from the horse's mouth, you know? It's straight from them. They're telling it unfiltered. This is what happened. This is what we went through. And like, how crazy is this? This is how we all felt afterwards. And all these like kind of really small moments that were like, it was so kind of weird in the moment. But then when you translate that into a film, and it's like, this is based on the book, which was based on true events, you just have so many moments that are just
Chinese
like...
whispers.
That is, and they're just throwaway moments that are like, I don't know why this was in the film.
It's very
like,
diluted.
Yeah, I understand that you want to, like, but there were so many moments where it didn't even feel like, oh, we have to put this in to be truly respectful to these individuals. Because as we talked, Chris Hemsworth and everyone, they didn't look anything like the actors, and they didn't look anything like they're real people. And it just didn't feel, there was so many moments in this film, it's like, this doesn't feel real. It's based on a true story. But it feels like if they're willing to make these exceptions to kind of go
Why
on
don't they
the
make
outside-
other exceptions
Yeah,
to make the
why
film
did
more
they-
interesting?
Yeah, because like, there's so many moments that are just kind of throw away, and it's like, first of all, you should really try to make a really good film. It's like, as much as you want to be really truthful to the characters, just have a little disclaimer, inspired by true events, so then you can have moments that are like, because this is like actual like setup and payoff. And also, it annoyed me so much that none of them were wearing helmets.
Yeah.
Like I feel like people were wearing helmets in World War One, you know, and we've been wearing helmets to every single war that we've ever been to, and they're in special forces. Everyone knows that they're all Americans, and they're wearing like vests and stuff. They would be wearing those tactical helmets.
And the argument to that would be, we kept the helmet stuff so you can identify who the characters are, but since they didn't bother giving us the characters that are like,
they didn't bother identifying the
keep Chris
characters in the
Hemsworth
first
helmet
place.
off and it's the same movie. Yeah.
It was just like such a weird thing. If they didn't wear helmets, I would be quite surprised.
Okay. Anything else?
In terms of negatives, I think we touched on all of the points.
I think we've well and truly
bashed
this film around a bit.
I guess the main one of the other main things is just the whole demonizing anyone that isn't American.
Yeah.
Even when they first come into Afghanistan and there's local troops guard and like the Americans like, don't worry, this is a safe place, and they're like, don't salute him. And they're like, oh, well, we don't trust this.
No, this is a friendly place. And it's like, what are you talking about? He's not my friend.
He's not my friend.
He's definitely not my friend.
Yeah, and they point to Afghani soldier. You're like, and they do such a good job of demonizing these people, where it would have been so much more realistic if there was that conflict in the Americans' head of like, most of these guys are farmers and they got bullied into this kind of thing. Like,
Or have a moment where you really like just stay on that kind of realization that they're fighting farmers.
Yeah,
and it's just another throwaway line. Where it's like, well, yeah, we were all farmers.
It plays off on them being really dumb. It does come across as they're just really insensitive.
They're ignorant.
And on the flip side of that, they've made the Americans too pure.
Yeah,
They've made them like the ideal American hero.
They're all Captain America.
There's no conflict.
Yeah.
they're heroes. They're chosen to not get killed.
Exactly. They're all like, oh, this captain's going to lead us into battle. I mean, he's never been in war before. cool. Let's see him fuck up a bit. Like, let's see him
Let's have
deal
him
with
make a
war
call
for the first time.
Like, make a call, one of his men maybe get hurt because he made a rash call and then he learns
Or
something.
why are
from
they
the
all
warlord
willing
or
to
something
stand
like
by him if he's never been to war before? Why are they all so...
that. Show us that.
Yeah, why are they all so happy that he's coming back and he's going to be their captain? He's like, that bit's never... It's never really touched on. They make this huge thing on us like, oh, he's never seen action.
Yeah.
This film, I think maybe... It's like they went with the first draft of the script.
I just feel like the American military's had their hand in it, and they're like, no, get rid of that. Like, our soldiers are too good for that, and make sure you demonize these people so that
Majority of
the general public think that what we're doing is good.
Majority
instead of
of
killing farmers.
Majority of income made in this movie will be
Americans, yeah.
So, I guess they probably just wanted to try and make the Americans as likable as possible, so that the more people want to see this movie. But it just, I guess you got to remember that making movies is a business in the end, and like people do it to make money. But I would much rather see a fully fleshed out film where no one's perfect, especially in war.
I'd just say that just kind of summing up, because like I didn't hate this film. Like as much as I'm slamming on it, I can always find a problem with anything, even my favorite things. But I just feel like my main issue is that it just felt empty and a bit bland.
It's just so macho America.
Have a theme to end this podcast. It's a bit hard to theme a war movie. I thought like battleships or something, but I don't have the game. And it's a bit hard to do.
That's more of a Navy film.
Pretty hard to do over an audio-based thing.
Yeah, what do we... I guess...
I don't own a horse.
I don't have a horse either. Do you want to pretend to be a horse?
I
and I'll
can
just
piggyback
ride
you
you
around.
Yeah.
I could
That's a good
piggyback you into...
Jordan's a
battle.
horse. John's a horse. See you later, everyone.
You've been listening to the Film Slice podcast. I'd like to tell you that was a fake noise Angus made with his mouth, but I'd be lying. If you listen to this, I'm real sorry.
Cheers, guys, for listening.
I'm real
See you
sorry.
later.
We're all very sorry.
Next time we'll have a bit more sleep.
We're all very sorry.
Got him.